Regulations for various sports leagues are changing their rules in the pursuit of avoiding concussions. The U.S. Soccer League now restricts children under the age of 12 from heading a ball in a game, and a growing concern for concussions is calling for new ways of accurately detecting them. WTIU's James Vavrick investigates the research of baseline testing for concussions and how these methods could make organized sports safer for everyone.
The sound of screaming children fills the soccer field at the Twin Lakes Recreational Center in Bloomington. This is the first time many of these kids have participated in an organized sport. Chris Doran works to teach the kids the fundamentals of soccer.
As a coach, we don't want the players to be fearful of touching the ball to their heads, because done properly and in the right circumstance, it actually can be absolutely a safe experience for the player.
Concussions are a common brain injury where the brain makes contact with the skull on impact. The impact kills brain cells and causes inflammation of the brain tissue. A typical healthy adult can recover from a concussion in just a couple of weeks. But experts say some victims of concussions never get better. They experience a condition known as post-concussion syndrome, where symptoms of a concussion persist for weeks or even months. Because of this growing concern, officials are tightening the rules on so-called high-risk sports. Take, for instance, headbutting in soccer.
What U.S. Soccer did 2 or 3 years ago is they sat down with some physicians and they said, you know what, for our players in our country, it's not necessary for them to be heading the ball at the age of 7, 8, 9, or 10.
That age is kind of arbitrary, though, because one haunting aspect about concussions is that we still don't know a whole lot about them. In Dr. Nicholas Port's lab at the Indiana University School of Optometry, researchers are diving into relatively uncharted territory.
So we have 2 short tests left. Do you understand the instructions?
Part of Dr. Port's work is to find an accurate and objective way to clinically diagnose concussions minutes after they occur. His lab is using eye-tracking technology to measure cognitive performance in athletes.
So the eye tracker is measuring eye movements. So like all video-based eye trackers, we're monitoring movement of the eye by the reflection of an infrared LED off the cornea plus the movement of the pupil. We're simultaneously measuring balance with a Wii balance board. And then what we have is a battery of classic neurology of eye movement exams.
At the beginning of the season, before a sport starts, Dr. Port's lab gathers data on athletes while they are healthy. It's a method called baseline testing, which ensures researchers have accurate information of an athlete before a possible injury.
And then if they were to get injured, we remeasure their eye movements to see if they've been affected.
Port's team has gathered baselines from 1,500 athletes and performed eye tracker testing with more than 100 athletes with confirmed concussions. Some of that data comes from Bloomington High School North, where athletic trainers from the school are praising the lab's efforts.
What it's really giving me is a lot of hope in the sense of what we've known when I first came out to what we know now is extremely different. This eye tracking would give us the ability to give another piece of objective data that we currently don't have.
As parents consider whether to let their kids play sports at the youth level, Port says it's important to weigh the pros and cons.
And that's a very personal decision for parents and for kids. I think it's really important to keep in mind the total benefit of playing organized sports for most kids. I think the benefits far outweigh the risk.
For Indiana News Desk, I'm James Vavrick.
The folks at the IU School of Optometry say the data collecting portion of their study is now complete, and based off their data, it's possible that eye tracker testing could be implemented as standard protocol for diagnosing concussions during future games.